Well, hello, everybody. This is Mr. Renner again, and I'm here to read you Miss Rumphius, an absolutely beautiful, marvelous fable about how to lead a good life. All right, let's get started, okay? Miss Rumphius. Story and the pictures by Barbara Cooney. The book is dedicated to St. Nicholas, patron saint of children and sailors and maidens. And maidens are like young girls. The lupine lady lives in a small house overlooking the sea. In between the rocks around her house grow purple and blue and rose-colored flowers. The lupine lady is little and old, but she hasn't always been that way. I know. She's my great aunt, and she told me so. Once upon a time, she was a little girl named Alice who lived in a city by the sea. From the front stoop, she could see the wharves and the bristling masts of all the tall ships. Many years ago, her grandfather had come to America on a large sailing ship. Mhm. Now he worked at the shop in the bottom of the house, making figureheads for the prows of the ships, carving Indians out of wood to put in front of cigar stores. For Alice's grandfather was an artist. He painted pictures too of sailing ships and places across the sea. When he was very busy, Alice helped him put in the skies. There's a picture of them. In the evening, Alice sat on her grandfather's knee and listened to his stories of all the faraway places. When he had finished, Alice would say, "When I grow up, I'm going to go to all those faraway places. When I grow old, I too will live beside the sea." "That's all very well, little Alice," said her grandfather, "but there is a third thing you must do." "What is that?" "You must do something to make the world more beautiful." "All right," she said, but she didn't know what that could be. In the meantime, Alice got up and washed her face and ate her porridge for breakfast. She went to school and came home and did her homework, and pretty soon she was grown up. There they are. It looks to me like she's either a teacher or a librarian here, isn't there? That's her all grown up right there. Then my great aunt Alice set out to do the three things she told her grandfather she was going to do. She left home and went to live in another city far away from the sea and the salt air. Then she worked in the library, dusting the books and keeping them from getting mixed up and helping people find the ones they wanted. Some of the books told her about faraway places, and people were calling her Miss Rumphius now. Sometimes she went to the conservatory in the middle of the park. When she stepped inside on a winter day, the warm, moist air wrapped itself around her, and the sweet smell of jasmine filled her nose. "This is almost like a tropical island," Miss Rumphius says, "but not quite." And there she is inside the conservatory. And this kind of conservatory, there's a couple of them, but this kind of conservatory is a very hot and humid place with a lot of flowers and trees inside of a city. There's a conservatory in St. Paul. So Miss Rumphius went to a real tropical island where people kept cockatoos and monkeys as pets. She walked on long beaches, picking up beautiful shells. One day, she met the Bapa Raja, king of the fishing village. "You must be tired," he said. "Come into my house and rest." So Miss Rumphius went in and met the Bapa Raja's wife. The Bapa Raja himself fetched a green coconut and cut a slice off the top so that Miss Rumphius could drink the coconut water inside. Before she left, the Bapa Raja gave her a beautiful mother of pearl shell on which he had painted a bird of paradise and the words, "You will always remain in my heart." "You will always remain in mine too," she said. And there they are. I can't tell if he's giving her the necklace or the coconut there. That doesn't look like a coconut. A coconut, you really can chop off the top of it and it tastes really sweet. There's a really sweet, nummy liquid inside. And look, people have monkeys as pets. I've been to places like this before and I miss it. I wish I could go back. Then my great aunt Alice Rumphius climbed tall mountains where the snow never melted. She went through jungles and across deserts. She saw lions playing and kangaroos jumping, and everywhere she made friends she would never forget. Finally, she came to the land of the lotus eaters, and there, getting off a camel, she hurt her back. What a foolish thing to do, said Miss Rumphius. Well, I have certainly seen faraway places. Maybe it's time to find my place by the sea. And it was, and she did. There she is, climbing the mountains where the snow never melts. And here she is, out in the land of the lotus, and she hurt herself on that camel. So she visited lots of faraway places, just like she said she would when she was growing up. Now she's going to go find a place by the sea and live there. And that's the second thing she said she was going to do. Do you remember the third thing she said she was going to do? We'll get to that later. Here it is. From the porch of her new house, Miss Rumphius watched the sun come up. She watched it across the heavens and sparkle on the water, and saw it set in glory in the evening. She started a little garden among the rocks that surrounded her house, and she planted a few flower seeds in the stony ground. Miss Rumphius was almost perfectly happy. But there's still one more thing I have to do. I have to do something to make the world more beautiful. But what? The world is already pretty nice, she said, looking out over the horizon. So there's her house by the sea with her little garden. Doesn't look like a very nice place to put a garden, but I think she found out a way to do it. How is she going to make the world more beautiful? We're wondering. The next spring, Miss Rumphius wasn't very well. Her back was bothering her again, and she had to stay in bed most of the time. The flowers she had planted the summer before had come up and bloomed in spite of the stony ground. She could see them from her bedroom window, blue and purple and rose colored. There she is with her cat, and she has her cane because you remember she hurt her back, and she has all those flowers outside. Lupines, Miss Rumphius said with satisfaction. Lupines. I've always loved lupines the best. I wish I could plant more seeds this summer so that I could still more flowers next year, but she wasn't able to. After a hard winter, spring came. Miss Rumphius was feeling better. Now she could take walks again. One afternoon, she started to go up and over the hill where she hadn't been in a long time. I don't believe my eyes, she cried when she got to the top. And what do you think she sees? For there on the other side of the hill was a large patch of blue and purple and rose-colored lupines. It was the wind, she said. It was the wind that brought the seeds from my garden here. The birds must have helped. And she had a wonderful idea. She hurried home and got out her seed catalogs. She sent off to the very best seed house for 5 bushels of lupine seed. 5 bushels is a lot of seed. All that summer, Miss Rumphius, her pockets full of seeds, wandered over fields and headlands, sowing lupines. She scattered seeds along the highways and down the country lanes. She flung handfuls of them around the schoolhouse and the back of the church, and she tossed them into hollows and along stone walls. Her back didn't hurt at all anymore. Now some people called her that crazy old lady. And just so you know, it says here, she was sowing the lupines. This is a different kind of sowing than the one that you do on clothes. This is sowing where you just are putting seeds in the ground. That's called sowing the fruit. He might be sowing some crops up here, actually. And of course, her cat is following her as she sows her seeds. The next spring, there were lupines everywhere. I don't know if you could see that, but look at all those flowers in this city, all over the place. All along, across the whole city. The next spring, there were lupines everywhere. Fields and hillsides were covered with blue and purple and rose-colored petals. They bloomed along the highways and down the lanes. Bright patches lay around the schoolhouse and the back of the church. Down in the hollows and along the stone walls grew the beautiful flowers. Miss Rumphius had done the third, most difficult thing at all. My great Aunt Alice, Miss Rumphius, is very old now. Her hair is very white. Every year there are more and more lupines. Now they call her the Lupine Lady. Sometimes my friends stand with me outside her gate, curious to see the old lady who planted all the fields of lupines. When she invited us in, they come slowly. They think she is the oldest woman in the world. Often she'll tell us stories of all the faraway places she's been. There they are. Looks like she likes children. She probably has a good time talking to them. And it's always fun to talk about some of the adventures you've had, isn't there? When I grow up, I tell her, I also am going to go to all those faraway places and find a house by the sea. That's very well, little Alice, says my aunt, But there is a third thing you must do. You have to do something to make the world more beautiful. All right, I say, but I don't know yet what it can be. This is my favorite book. Wasn't that a fun book? Go on adventures and see a lot of amazing things and visit lots of amazing places and get to know lots of wonderful people, and then find a home someplace and do something to make the world a little more beautiful. And that's perfect. All right. I was so glad to be able to share this story with you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you later.